So I told you during the Bad Bird video here that I had two castings that didn't do it for me. We're going to take a look at the second one today. Don't go away. Hello everybody and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Christmas is almost upon us, and my gift for you today is a unique casting. Let's get to work. So I told you in the Bad Bird video that I had two castings that really weren't exciting me. And today we're going to take a look at the second of the two. This is a Hot Wheels strip teaser. Now, I'm not even sure why I pulled it out. It really wasn't doing anything for me, but I guess in the back of my head there was something that just said, hey, pull this out and do it. So I did. And let's see how it works out. So we're going to go ahead and take this strip teaser apart using my Vix Bits and shielded drilling technique. And while we're at it, we can just talk about it a little bit. One thing I noticed that's weird about this car is that I've never seen one that has the original interior in it. Those are always gone. And the other thing I found a little bit odd, no glass. I don't know, it just feels like it should have like some kind of a windshield in front of it, but it doesn't. What it does have is it has one monster engine in front of it. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing apart. We can take a look at all the component pieces. I do have a replacement interior for it, and we'll go ahead and see what we can do with this casting. So the base is held onto the body with two rivets, and once we drill those out, we can take it apart. This is one of those castings that has the wheels affixed to the axle and affixed to the base, which is always a problem, and it's going to be the same thing here. We're going to have to be creative on how we're going to replace the wheels. The body's in solid condition. Like I said, it's missing its interior, and then we have a third rivet for the big honkin' motor that we have to drill out. Okay, so this is one of the ugliest pinks I've ever seen. It's gotta go, so into the warm liquid goo phase it will go, and we'll get rid of this ugly paint. Bloop! In it goes, and down into the depths of the goo. So while the body soaks in the goo, I'm going to take a look at this base. These wheels are a disaster. There's not really any saving them. They have to be replaced. I just need to figure out a clever way to do it and make it work out right. So I'll figure something out here, but in the meantime, I can go ahead and check on the body. These Hot Wheels, the paint comes off in my warm liquid goo phase. It comes off in an hour. So the car's been in there for a very short amount of time. Open it up. We'll pluck it out. I can see the paint just slurming right off the body, so we'll take it and give it a good wash. With the car body washed and dried and free of all its paint, I can get a good look at what I have to work with. I am going to go with a sort of a, well, I won't call it Spectraflame because I'm not going to use Spectraflame paint here, but I am going to use something kind of Spectraflamey. I don't know. So anyhow, that's for later in this video. For right now, let's focus on drilling out these posts. And I'm going to tell you these posts are very short, very thin, and we're going to have major problems here. So the Vix Bits really excel at prepping the ends of the posts. They clean them up, and they put a little divot right smack dab in the center of it. It is fantastic. So I'll do that to both of the posts, and then I can go ahead and start to drill them out to take a screw so that when I'm done with this, I can put the car back together. So, what is it that is worse than being punched in the gut? Well, it's being punched in the gut twice. So while I'm drilling this, I drill through the first post right into the little passenger compartment. Now, fortunately, it's not a big deal because the little plastic interior will go in there, and so you will never see the little hole that I made. But like I said, I'm going to get punched in the gut twice because I'm also going to drill right through the hood of the car and put a little hole there. That's how short and, just problematic these posts were. So, yeah, I drilled through both of them. Believe me, I'm such an idiot. Oh, right through the bottom. So my plan to fix the hole in the hood is to use a drop of thick cyanoacrylate glue, which I will then hit with a dab of accelerator, and then I'll go ahead and do a bunch of sanding and filing to make sure that it's nice and smooth and blends into the finish. But yeah, this is just one extra step because those posts were so short, and the metal apparently was pretty soft because I drilled through it like boom, I was through. And I was like, you'd think I would have learned from the first one. But no, I couldn't do that. I had to wait until I drilled through the second one. So anyhow, a little CA glue in the hole, a little accelerator right here. That'll solidify that. And then we can go ahead and get the post tapped and ready for a screw. And all I'm doing is just making sure that the CA has not dribbled down through the post. So I'm just kind of making sure it's not in the way. But anyhow, that's how I'm going to fix this problem. So with the CA in the hole and nice and dry, I can go ahead and tap out both posts and make sure they're ready for a screw. Now, here on the front one, it's really important that I don't go too far and push the little repair right out of the hole. So as soon as I feel the slightest bit of resistance, I'm just going to stop and back this sucker out. So I have put down some Tamiya Fine Primer on this car, and that will help me get this thing sanded down smoothly and to make sure that the repair on the hood is not going to be noticeable. So there's going to be a couple repeats here. We're going to do some primer, and then a little filing and sanding, and then some more primer, and then some more filing, sanding, until the primer shows that this is nice and smooth and blended in. Once it's like that, then we can go ahead and start talking about paint. So the first thing for this body is one final coat of Tamiya Fine Primer to make sure that this is all beautiful and smooth and ready for the paint. So we'll give it a quick spray, and then we can let that dry, and then we can start thinking about some paint. So I've put down a metallic base coat on the body. Okay, this is to give it a nice candy metal, like a Spectraflame kind of look, even though it's not really Spectraflame. And I'm going to be using my Createx Candy 2.0 paints. So I've got the base coat down, and it's nice and dry. And I'm actually using the Tequila Sunrise here. And I've never used this color, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to shock me. Okay, it's going to surprise me. So I've mixed up a bunch of the Tequila Sunrise with some of the Balancing Clear. Get it thoroughly mixed, and I'll start to lay it down in my normal fashion, going with the mist coats and the medium coats and then the wet coats. And then we'll let that dry and wait until you see what comes out. So this Tequila Sunrise, I was really kind of expecting like a an orangish yellow kind of almost type thing. It's gold. It's a beautiful, beautiful gold. Talk about happy accidents. This is going to be one of those, okay? Because the color that is going to end up on this strip teaser is fantastic. It's nothing like I thought it would be, but it's amazing, and I'm so happy with it. So quite often the Createx paint comes out with a kind of a satiny or flat looking finish, so this absolutely demanded some of my Bright Vision clear coat. You know I wasn't going to not do that, so yeah, we're laying down the clear coat, and here I am getting on those final wet coats, and the body is looking amazing. I'm so happy with this, and this is what I was saying, just like on the Bad Bird. This car really wasn't doing it for me. But right here, I'm at that moment that I mentioned last time where it's all starting to work. Everything's coming together, and I'm getting jazzed right now. I am cranked about this car. I'm super happy. I'm glad that I took it out of the drawer, and everything is just clicking. So here on the rear axle, I felt there was a little bit too much, and it made that be a little bit sloppy. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to nip off the end of the original axle, and then using my fence post pliers, I will crimp that back down. I think it'll just make it a little less sloppy on the car. So that's what I'm doing before putting on the new cap style wheels. So it's time for everybody's favorite product, Flitz. We're going to dab a little bit on the base, and using my rotary tool, we will polish the tar out of this thing and make it look all bright and shiny and new. And then we'll buff it out with a nice soft cloth. And after, you know what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and seal this base up using a little bit of Renaissance wax. This Renaissance wax is really a wonderful thing to have. You know, whether you're doing Hot Wheel restorations or diecast restorations or coin rings or whatever, it's a fantastic product, and I can think of all sorts of uses on exposed metals where I don't want them to tarnish. This is fantastic for that. So, like I said, the rear wheels are cap style, easy to fix. I just kind of tightened up the axle a little bit. The fronts, it's a whole new axle, hub style wheels, and I'm just going to lay them back into the original trough that's formed into the body, and a little super glue, drop them in. This will stay forever. It's going to be perfect. So for fun, I'm going to do a lot of detailing on this car, but we need to kind of really get it together. So I'm going to start by popping in this reproduction base, and it comes with the drag chute and the interior all in one, and it just snaps in. And like I said, it's covering up right where I drilled through, so no issue there at all. It fits like a charm. Super happy about this. Looks great. So I would say that like 0% of my cars are meant to be played with. Okay? And yeah, this motor was held in with a post. It's kind of crooked. There's a lot of issues with it. I just do not, absolutely do not want to drill this thing out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my gel control super glue, and I'm just going to glue this back into the body and call it done. Okay, that's my plan there. So this motor is so big and glorious, it demanded detailing. So I'm going to do that before I glue it back in. And what I did is I went over by my paint booth and I got the mixing cup that I had mixed the body paint with, and it wasn't fully dried. So I was able to kind of dig around underneath the top layer and get to some wet paint, and I painted the engine block the body color. I thought that was a nice touch. Okay, so the block is painted up body color, and I've got a little Molotow chrome in my little paint tray here, and I'm going to just go ahead and chrome up the top of this beautiful motor, and then I'll come back in. I'm going to throw in some detail work on the belts and the distributor and the ends of the exhaust pipes, and the motor should end up looking really sweet. So I'm really happy with the way this thing is coming out, and we can go ahead and start to wrap this thing up, and we'll begin by putting in the screws and screwing the base back onto the body. Now remember, I had that repair on the front, and the worst thing I could do is use too long of a screw, so I'm using my absolute shortest screw and a couple washers so that it just holds enough to hold the car together without risking it putting any pressure on the body repair. So, a couple washers, screw it in, get this car back together. Then we can get out the CA glue and glue the engine into place. Okay, the car's together. The engine is glued back into place. There's still a few details I want to paint up on the engine. We'll do that now, and then we can call this car done. Well, there you have it, my strip teaser, and what a surprise casting. I love this thing. The Tequila Sunrise Gold paint is awesome. The motor, being the size it is, lends itself so well to this little bit of extra detailing. I think it just looks amazing. The interior, the aftermarket interior fits like a dream. And at the end of the day, this car is awesome. I really love the way this casting came out, and I hope you do too. If you did, please give this video a giant thumbs up, click subscribe, and don't forget to destroy the notification bell so you never miss a video in which I am taken by surprise. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Okay, that's going to do it. A lot of Christmas stuff to do. I got to get out of here. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.